Yo, it's Bader. I'm excited to show you a little niche portion of my collection here. So I'm excited to show you what is in here. There's a single card that's in here, and that's what this is. This is a set of 1943 La Ambrosia cards, which most people aren't going to know anything about. But there's one card in there I really wanted. I've been hunting down for a few months when I came upon this one. So I want to show you that, but I want to show you other cards that are related to the singular card that is in that set that I really wanted. So this is a great excuse to show some cards. So first off, I am a Twins fan, and the Twins came from the Washington Senators. So they became the Twins in 1961. I am any of the players that transitioned from Washington to Minnesota, I really like. I really enjoy. And a lot of them, they're not high value cards. It's just something I really enjoy. And Camilo is one of the key players that transition. So here we are. Here's a Camilo Pascual. And I have this card in duplicate, but this one is a blazer. It is a gorgeous card. And I was able to get this for a buy it now. I think it was like under $6. But it is a beautiful copy. And if you love vintage cards and you can find some players that are under the radar, gosh, you can have some gorgeous things to look at. So super happy with that. Now I'm showing this card because the card in here, I kind of want to give clues. Camilo was a Washington Senator. He's a pitcher. That's something in common with here. The other thing is he's a Cuban-born player. So that is a couple of clues. So I'll put that one there. The other card they have to show, it's also Camilo Pascual. And this one I did not have. And the fun thing about this, it's not a 65 tops, although it looks like it. It is a O-Pee-Chee. And it looks like it just came out of a pack. It's a little bit off-centered, but what really is cool about having players that you really like is the cost effectiveness of this. There's only 2 graded copies higher than this one with PSA, and I was able to purchase this on eBay for the cost of grading. It was a $20 card, and for me, that's huge. I love it. It's like if you found a, Sandy Koufax or something, and you're geeked out about it, and everybody else is. This is, for me, that's what this is. It's a premier pitcher that I have some connection with because of my favorite teams and everything else like that. So very excited to have that one. All right, here's another card. There's a great excuse just to show it. I was very excited to have this one, but I got this a couple years ago. Here we have a 1967 Topps Venezuela Retorado card, and these are pretty neat. So it's a good looking card. This one you could tell it was in a scrapbook book for sure, because on the back when we turn around, like most of these, it had to get like torn, pulled, whatever out of that scrapbook. And so you got all that paper back there that's mounted to it. And it's on one of these clear CGC holders that really are crystal clear. But we've got that card. Now the reason why I'm showing this, you can say he's a pitcher, he's a Washington Senator, but it's a Retorado card. And the card that I'm wanting, the player is in this set. He also has a Retorado card because he's incredibly popular in Cuba. He's an all-time great in Cuba. He's in the Cuban Hall of Fame. So I'll put that card down here. The next card that I'm going to show is one of my favorite cards, and it's the first, I guess you'd call comma card. Oh, you can see that one. You already know it's coming. All right. It's a comma card. And it's the first one that I ever had. And here we have a Satchel Paige, 53 Topps. One of my favorite cards ever. I think a lot of people have this on their list of cards that they really like. And I was super geeked out to get this one. The reason why I'm showing this one is, again, this player's a pitcher, but he's known for getting into the league very late in his career. So Satchel was an all-time great already in the Negro leagues. And when he transitioned, he was over 40 years old. Well, the player that I'm going to show you, he went into the majors, and his first game he was just a couple days short of his 39th birthday. So that's something that he has in common with this guy. The other thing that has in common is they actually pitched against each other. There's a kind of cool story. They're both in AAA after their major league careers were over, and they pitched in a rocking chair game. So they were both on rocking chairs, and they pitched against each other. And Satchel Paige was able to defeat him 1-0. But here is one of my favorite cards in my collection. We got the 49 Bowman, and I'd say that's a really, really pretty card. It's very, very good looking. There's a couple little light creases that are really hard to see. And it's got the one, and on the back, you could tell that it was also in a binder. So there's a little bit of paste mark. So I was super excited to be able to own this card, and I think it's a pretty good looking copy. Okay, that brings us to this player that we're mentioning. Now this guy, not a lot of fanfare, but unless you're from Cuba, and you're definitely, unless you're a geek here, but here we go. This is a Connie Marrero, also Conrado Marrero. He had a couple cool nicknames. He was the hillbilly, the peasant, the curveballer. He had a handful of different nicknames. But he was a little 5'5" pitcher. He was known for smoking cigars constantly, had awesome off-speed pitches, and he was a really, really good pitcher. He was the oldest All-Star, the oldest person ever to have his first All-Star game, until that was beaten by Satchel Paige. And he's the third oldest rookie of all time. Also one of them behind Satchel Paige. So that's his 51 Bowman. We have his 52 Tops. This is a high series card, so these are going to be a little harder to acquire. I don't have many high series cards, but this one was high on my list. And then lastly, like the Satchel Paige, there is the 53 Tops. Now, he's got an interesting story, because when he was playing in Cuba, he didn't actually start playing ball on any organized level until he was 26 years old. And he played amateur baseball just like we would play here in the States. Back in the 20s, you play for a department store or a factory or something like that. And he was dominant. He was so darn good that people would flock to see him pitch in games. And he would actually draw more people to watch him play than their pro teams would. So he became kind of a local legend there. And then he went and started playing ball in Cuba's pro leagues, and he was one of their best pitchers. And then eventually at the age of 36, the team he played for, the Havana, became an affiliate with the Washington Senators, and he was a smoke show. His ERA every single year was between 1.5 and 1.75 for 3 years in a row. He'd win like 20, 25 games. He'd lose like 5 to 7. And he was phenomenal. And then when he came up with Washington, he was arguably their premier pitcher. So that leads us to this right here. And Connie's not a huge deal because, you break into the league at 39 years old. What kind of stats can you put up? It's kind of like Satchel Paige. You look at his stats from when he made it to the major leagues, and it's not incredibly impressive, but it's very, very respectable. So this set here, this is a amateur baseball card set from 1943. And of course, in 43, that's the war. The war's going on. There's not a lot of people making cards. So you got pre-war, you got vintage, you got post-war. What do you call it? What do you call a set that was being made during the war? And what this is it's a list and a showing of all of these amateur players. Now in here, and the stats from the previous year. Now in here, there are a number of players who made it in the minor leagues and end up going and playing pro ball. And this is what the set looks like. These are small cards that came out of when you bought chocolate, you'd get some. I don't know if it was one or a couple. I don't know exactly. But then you would sit there and you would glue them into here. So it's a very, very thin paper stock. Very easy to damage. And of course, in this binder, getting them out, I think everything would be authentic, or if somebody knew how, you'd have to have some back damage. But the main card that I wanted, and I put a little mark there, is this card right here. 1943. a very young Conrad Marrero. And there you see one of his other nicknames is El Primero, #1, El Premier. So the #1 or the best. He's considered the best pitcher in the league. And there it is. I do not see many of those, but minty, sharp corners. There is really no wear to this at all other than, because these are, it looks like there's something there, but these are fans out in the stands. There's a little kind of a touch of something, but such a cool card. And I think that's awesome. And I don't even know how to handle this, how to store it. Whoops, bump the camera. But here we have almost the entire league that's in there. This is 228 of the about 240 cards that are in the set. And I think that is so cool. I'm kind of sad that I can't have the Marrero card just in a case, but this is pretty darn cool. So I just wanted to show that. I watched a video not too long ago, but for collectors, they had Orlando from A Collector's Dream, who's from the Cuban heritage. He knows all about Cuban baseball cards, and he was showing some really cool stuff. I enjoyed that, and I told myself, man, I got to show this Conrad card from this 43 Cuban set. But that's it. Hopefully everybody out there has a couple players that they really enjoy, that they don't have to spend much for because they're off the beaten path. But this is one of my favorites. All right, Bader out.